guys, it's Night Fear, and I'm coming on today to do my TBR for the Queer Lit Readathon. This is being held June 6th through the 12th, and there are a few hosts, but the one I always watch is Kathy Trithardt. You know that if you've watched my channel any length of time, any readathon that she hosts, I tend to participate in because I love her channel, and she gives some great recommendations on books and some great queer books too. So anyway, so this is what the bingo board looks like. I don't have a printer, so I usually just make it myself. So I'll go over each of the prompts with the book that I picked, and yes, I did pick 15 books for this. Now, am I going to read 15 books in a week? Probably not, but I still, just in case, wanted to pick one for every prompt, and because I'm going to be reading queer the whole June, I'll probably be getting to the books, even if I don't read them during this readathon, I'll read them after. Alrighty, so let's start. The first prompt is to read a memoir, and all these, the whole point of this is to read queer books. So these are all queer books, at least I hope. I tried to do as much, looking around to make sure that these were queer. If I start reading one and it's not queer, I will swap it out. Or the one for the religion prompt, I'm not so sure on, so I might have to swap that one out. And see if I can find another one. But for right now, this is what I'm going to be reading during this week of June. Alright, so anyway, the first one, Memoir. This is the one I picked. It's How We Fight for Our Lives, a memoir by Saeed Jones. And don't mind this, I posted little post-it notes on there so I don't accidentally read it at the beginning, because there's 1 week at the beginning before Queer Lit Readathon starts. So I don't want to start any of these books beforehand, so just don't mind that. But anyway, this is a memoir from Saeed Jones, and it's just about, it's a stunning coming-of-age memoir. He tells us the story of being a young black gay man from the South, and that's pretty much it. Really short, so I'm excited. Short is good for the readathon. I think it's like a little over 200, or no, it's not even 200 pages. Haha, yay. Okay, awesome. So there's the first one. The next one is the group read. The group read that they picked is Freshwater by Akwaeke Emezi. I have not read anything by them. I think that is the proper pronouns. And I don't know a lot about what this is about. I did look it up. It's a Nigerian girl who was born with gods and goddesses in her. And we're following her from birth until, I think college is what it said, and then she moves to the U.S. and she meets a boy. That's all. I don't know how this is queer, unless if it's like non-binary kind of queer because of the gods and goddesses in her. I'm not sure. But anyway, I'm excited because they have written a couple of books that I see on people's channel, and so if I'd like this, then maybe I'll look up their other books and read them too. So yeah, so that's the and I'm going to be reading that on Scribd. So if these are not library books, I'm pretty much going to read them on Scribd. So also, if I can't get them on Scribd, because if you've had Scribd, sometimes the books become unavailable as you read popular books. I'm going to kind of prioritize some of them. So if I can't read something on here, I will switch it out for something else. And then you'll, of course, see that on the wrap-up. But that's why, I pretty much, these are the books I really want to read for this readathon. So hopefully I will be able to read them all. But anyway, if that makes sense. So the next one is Hard-Hitting Contemporary. And this is another one on Scribd, and my library doesn't have it. I looked. So yeah, this is The Wicker King by Kay Ankrum. I've seen this on multiple people's channels, saying it's a wonderful book. And this one is interesting because the pages as you go through the book gets darker. Now, since I'll be reading this on ebook, I'm assuming that'll happen too, but considering my ebook I read it dark, so it's like the pages are black and the writing is white, so I'm not sure. Maybe I'll switch out for this one. Oh wait, on Scribd, no I don't. On Scribd it's okay, maybe it'll come through. I don't know. Anyway, just don't mind me. But this is a story of two friends. One of them is having some kind of mental health issues, and he starts spiraling, and the other friend is trying to help him. That's the only thing I really know about this book. But I'm just, I don't know. I'm very curious, and I really hope that I really like this, because if so, I'm gonna see. There's another Kay Ancrum book, and now I can see the cover, but I can't remember the title. But if I like this one, I like the writing, then I definitely want to read more. Oh, and I'm not sure how this one is queer either. But it was on a couple of queer book lists, so I'm assuming it is, hopefully. And if you've read it, if you've read The Wicker Queen and if you've read The Wicker King and know how it's queer, let me know down below, please. Okay, so the next one is To Choose Your Own Category. Now, I was going to have this nonfiction, but I decided I want to read more books from the library. So I am I changed it, and it's a favorite author, favorite queer author, I guess I should put. And then that's N.K. Jemisin. I've read a few things by her, and just her. I always hate saying pronouns because I never know. I'm not sure. Oh, it says she lives in New York, so hopefully it's her. But anyway, The City We Became. I did start this book. I kind of got into it, and then it was just like, ugh. And then I realized this readathon was coming along, and I thought, okay, I'm just going to save it. So anyway, I'm going to start it again, and it's kind of a bulky book, but I really like N.K. Jemisin's writing. I've read 3 series by her now, and so this is her newest, and this is going to be a series also, but this is about New York, and New York has people like in the different boroughs that are kind of like embodiments for New York, and so that's kind of where the story starts, and we have something that's attacking it. So anyway, that's that. The next one is Shorter Than a Novel, and this one I chose. Hold on one second. This keeps moving. I'm trying to. Hold on one. Okay, and this is No Safe Space, My Journey from Little Black Boy to Black Gay Man in America. And this is essays, and it's by Jeffrey Deshawn. And so it's really, really short. And I saw it on Scribd and thought it would fit for this. So that's what I'm going to read for that. And that's pretty much what it is. So I didn't really look up what it was because, it's his story. So, yeah. Then we've got Brings You Joy. And I picked this, which is Bedazzled by Ryan LaSala. And this one is basically about a boy who likes to bedazzle. He likes to sew and things like that. It's cosplay, an ex-boyfriend. I don't know. It just, so anyway, I don't know. It just sounded good. And, Kathy's actually reading this one too. Cause I saw it at the library and I was like, oh, that sounds good. And then I saw it on her TBR that she posted today. So, oh yeah. And I will be linking her announcement video, down below. So if you want to see her, explain, then you can check her out, and then from there you can go and see her TBR video too. But anyway, so I'm going to be reading this one because who doesn't get joy out of being bedazzled? So And I actually know, I mean, I actually remember, because I mean, I'm old, so I grew up in the 80s, and so that was, you know, a thing to bedazzle everything. Okay, so the next one is M-spec. M-spec means multi-attraction. I had never heard of that before. But basically it's bisexual, pansexual, poly, anything that's like more than one, you know, attraction, more than being attracted to more than one. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say, I hope. Anyway, so for this one, now this, I chose pan because someone I know has just recently come out to me as pan. And so I decided to type in pansexual, and this book was one of the ones that came up, so I'm hoping that this is true for this book. But it is The Library of the Unwritten by A.J. Hackwith. And this is about a librarian that is in charge of books the characters can escape the books and escape the library. And then they'll go and try to find their author. So yeah, so that's, I mean, that just sounds so interesting, and I love the cover, and yeah, so I'm excited because I had this on my radar before. I just didn't realize it was queer when I had read it, and I hate blurbs or synopsises, because they don't, if it's a queer book, it should say on there somewhere that it's queer. And stop hiding, because, you know, I mean, I look for that, and sometimes it's very difficult to find, and then you're reading the book and it's like, oh, this is a queer book, awesome, bonus, and it's like, well, you know, I would have liked to have known that, so, I don't know, it's just ridiculous, I hate that. Anyway, so the next one is Not Set on Your Continent. Now this one I think starts out here, but doesn't end up here. I don't think the majority of the story is here. So I'm going to count it, and that is Darius the Great Is Not Okay by Adib Khorram. And this is about Darius. He is Iranian. Let me make sure, because I don't want to, he's Persian, and shoot. Of course they put the tape right over. Hold on. Anyway, he's Persian and something. He's a mix of Persian and something, and he's going to Iran. But he doesn't fit. And he's basically trying to figure out how everything works and where he fits. Yeah, and I've heard that this is amazing, and I can't wait to read it. It's been on my list for a while, and so my library had it, and I was like, oh yeah, that book. So I decided to get it. So I'm excited. Cannot wait. And the next one is Intersectional, which means they have to be queer and something, and it's the book I chose is The Black Flamingo by Dean Atta. And he happens to be mixed race and gay. So that's how he intersects. And this is about a boy who is trying to figure out his identity, and it's also about drag. So I can't wait. I haven't read a good drag book in a while. Oh, and if you guys know any good drag books, let me know, because I really enjoy it. I've read a couple, and maybe there aren't that many. I don't know, but I'm excited to read this one, and this one's another one that's been on my TBR for a while. I'm just going to read all the TBR books, and then I'm not going to have anything to read, so people need to hurry up and write some more gay stuff so I can read some stuff. More gay sirens, that's what I need. I need more gay sirens, or queer sirens, I guess I should say, not gay. Sorry, queer sirens. I need more queer siren books. Whatever that means. More queer siren books, people. Okay, so the next one is a vintage, the vintage, which means a book written over 20 years ago. I had picked out another book, but for some reason, I don't know what I was thinking. It wasn't 20 years old. So instead, I decided I'm going to reread The Color Purple by Alice Walker. And this was written in 1982. So this is definitely 20 years old. I have read this twice before, I think. And I've seen the movie multiple times. I actually own the movie also. But yeah, this is my book. So I do have, there's several of these from the library. This is my first that's mine. I do own a few queer books, thank goodness. I've been trying to collect them as I see them. But yeah, this is about a black woman in the South who marries a not nice man, and she meets a woman and sees life a little differently, and it's just really, really good. It's just so good, and the movie is so good, and it just makes you mad, and just so good. Anyway, but yeah, I'm gonna be reading this one. And then Summer Vibes. I don't know. I mean, I kind of looked at the cover and thought, summery. It's kind of, he's still in school, I think, for this, but I'm going to count it because it has that summery color. But this is How to Be Remy Cameron by Julian Winters. And this is another one where he's got all these labels on him, and he's trying to figure out where he fits, and how to do that, and how to be, him. So it sounds interesting. I like it. And yeah, so can't wait to read that. Then we have superheroes. And for that one, I've picked another one that I have had for a while in my TBR, and that's Dreadnought. And this is Nemesis Book 1. It's by April Daniels, and it is about a transgender teen superhero, and it's coming out story. And that's pretty much all I know. That's all I want to know. It sounds so good. And I've seen good responses for this one too, so can't wait. So the next one, this one's Underrepresented Identity. For this one, I picked one that is, I don't know, I would say gender fluid, or I mean, definitely non-binary, but gender fluid I think fits better. I'm reading this book, but this is the first book in the series, Mask of Shadows. I'm reading Rune of Stars because I've already read Mask of Shadows. And this is by Lindsay Miller. This book is amazing. The writing style is a little strange, which is why I only gave this book a 4. Because the writing style was kind of a little bit choppy at parts. But the story itself is so amazing. It just, I would still highly recommend it. But this is about a non-binary thief who goes on to compete to be one of the Queen's assassins. So you get, the beginning is the thief part, and then you kind of get this competition kind of to the death of who's going to be the assassin. So it's kind of interesting, and then there's a revenge thing going on too. But throughout the book, you never really know whether this character was actually born male or female. Like as far as, and maybe that's not appropriate to say, but that I just found interesting, because usually you know how they were born, and then it goes from there. But this character, they are truly non-binary. They are truly gender fluid. And so because you don't know what gender they actually physically are, it's almost more accepting that way, kind of. I don't know. I'm explaining it wrong, I know, and probably sounding awful, but it's such a different book to read that way, or at least I have never read a book that way. And so the character, I mean, when somebody would misgender them, it was just like, because the way the character is how they're dressed is how you gender them. So if they're dressed feminine, you call them she. If they're dressed masculine, you call them he. Very simple. I mean, how easy is that? So, you just felt annoyed with them when they were wearing a dress and they would say he. It was like, what? So anyway, this is the continuation of this story, and I can't wait to see where the revenge goes from there. So yeah, I'm excited. I would highly recommend this one. If you can read it, I would highly recommend reading it. I'm not really one that would really like assassin type books, but this one is really, I don't know, it was really, really good. It was really surprised in many reasons that I like this one. So anyway, I've spent too much time on that one, but I want everybody, it's another one I want everybody to read. There's a few books I've read that I want everybody to go out and read, and that's just one of them. Okay, so then we have religion. Okay, now this is the one that I don't think this is going to fit, but I'm going to work it in here, and if not, if it's not as much as I think it is, then we're going to try something else. But this is not otherwise specified by Hannah Moskowitz, and this is about a girl who, she's basically not gay enough, not white enough, not sick enough, basically she's not enough of anything where in the groups that she's in. And then so she meets this girl who is straight, white, and Christian. That's where I'm thinking the religion might come in her therapy group. And then she has a crush, and then it's like, well, you know, maybe things will get better. Who knows? So anyway, I'm hoping that the Christian aspect has something to do with it. If not, like I said, I'll have to find a different book, and it doesn't matter because I'm reading queer books anyway, so this is one I would read anyway. So but if you know, if this one is not, if it doesn't have a lot of religion in it, let me know down in the comments below, so then that way I can just take this off and find a different book and then just read this later in the month. So, but let me know if you know about that. Okay, and then we have recommended, and I cannot remember who recommended. I know this has been on, I think, a couple lists. This might have actually been on one of Kathy's lists too, because she does a lot of recommendation A to Z queer books, and this might have been on one of hers, but I know I've seen it other places too. But this is Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Melinda Liu, awesome author. I've read Ash, and I have read, I think it's Huntress is what it was called, which is, I think, the second book after Ash. But those might be the only two, but I thought there was a third. But anyway, awesome author. Loved those two books. This one is not fantasy. This one is actually like contemporary, well, not contemporary, but contemporary into the 1950s. So we're following a girl, 17-year-old girl who likes girls, and she's Chinese. Hold on, let me make sure. I don't want to tell you wrong. I think she's Chinese. Yeah, she's Chinese American, and you know, that's not accepted, not in the 50s. You know, you can get in major trouble. Her family, I guess, must be immigrants, because it talks about deportation. And this club, the Telegraph Club, is a lesbian club. And so it's, you know, it's going to be about her trying to be the real her, and not, you know, as kind of maneuvering through all the crap that other people put her through, and trying to keep her family safe, I have a feeling. Because it says, you know, Lillian and Kath risk everything to let their love see the light of day. So, yeah, so it sounds interesting, and I can't wait, because this is another one that's been on my TBR for a while, and my library finally got this, so very excited. And the last one is just to read 40% of your TBR must be BIPOC, which is Black, Indigenous, People of Color. Which, if I read what I've got here, it's more than that, actually. So anyway, yeah, that's what I'm reading for the Queer Lit Readathon. Let me know down below if you're participating, or any great queer books that you can recommend me to read in June. I am going to do TBR with some other books, because I have more books. So yeah, so these are just the ones I'm doing for that week, and then, like I said, I'm trying to read queer queer in June. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you are always kind to one another. And I'll see you again soon. Bye.